Okay, 3:30 Eastern. Trade Ideas Live Q&A going live here. Give it a moment, let people file in, and we'll get moving on the day here. As always, I do like to keep this an open Q&A, so I don't come with any pre-done content. I like it when the content comes from you all, providing questions, engagement. This way we're all kind of learning and growing together. Like I said, I'll give it a couple of minutes here, let people pile in, see what kind of crowd we get, and we'll move forward from there. Till then, maybe we'll take a quick tour of the AI. There was a couple of hiccup days last week. Not sure why she seems so quiet on some of those, but we're pretty good set of days to start the week here, Monday and Tuesday for the AI. That's for sure. So just a quick tour on that. Take a look at some of these alerts that came in. So PLBY, very nice alert, holding on to that for the day there. You can see here in the moderate profit, it says 136 for me. That's based on taking 28 shares that have been risking $100 based on the stop loss way down here. Again, that's what the algo sees. That's how the algo's played, how you play it into your trading plan. It's a completely other story. All right, but that's just a beautiful alert. All day long, all day strong, right off that for Playboy Group. CMP, nice short play right here. So she gets at the bottom of this opening 15-minute candle. Right here on third 5-minute candle. And just a nice release here. Gets out in the conservative move on a profit save. But we can see we took another real nice leg down for the rest of the day there. So a beautiful short call right there from the AI. MME. So successful later day alert, actually. You don't always see that from the AI. But a nice call right there on that candle. Big wide stop down here. And still pushing higher into the close. And I'd say the beautiful thing about this, a few things that I like. Go into some detail here is if we bring over a SPY chart. All right. SPY's fading. All right. Here at the end of the day. It's starting to put in a green candle in here. But my point being is that this has been bucking the trend of the SPY all day long, it appears. You get a few pullbacks candles here, but right back up to it. And then, interesting daily chart here. All right. So those that know me know what I see there. That was a beautiful move off that cup and handle right there. Obviously, it's extended here. I wouldn't go chasing that as a swing play, and I look at things more as a swing play than I do a day trade. But all the same, intraday, the AI really nailed that one here towards the end of the day here. And there's one other comment I wanted to make about it, but it eludes me now. Forgive my absent-mindedness here. But a very solid alert. I'm sorry, this is what the other comment I wanted to make was. It's not like this is doing any kind of crazy volume. Liquid enough to trade for sure. 533,000 shares traded on the day, 1.6 on the relative volume. So it's not like it's cranking anything abnormal to be bucking the trend of the market. So it's true alpha on its own without any real big catalysts. Nothing really report on that short float or short growth, really. Nothing numbers that are there. So all right, small crowd to start us off in the first 5 minutes here. I thought maybe a few more people start piling in. Maybe we get some latecomers. And for those that filter in and out, this is Trade Ideas Software doing a late day live Q&A. So just doing a little AI recap, our Holly AI. Again, if you have questions, fire them away. I don't come with pre-done content. It's a completely open forum. I prefer it when you are all asking questions, engaging. This way we keep the content more based around the education that you are all looking for, wanting, and needing. So, all right, there's that. We covered winners. Let's cover some losers because, got to be unbiased here. So, KRZ here, this doing nutso volume here, 31.6 million shares traded on 163.74 times its normal volume over 10 days on that relative volume ratio. What are the things we can comment on? Unfortunately, the AI got it at the top here. And you got a gap of, somewhere around 35, 36% here. Hard to go chasing that gap. Although the trend is your friend, had it gapped up and it kept moving, might have been a different story. And, it looked like it was starting to buck that trend. So, AI saw what it saw. I'm just wondering, going back in time, let's see here. Lifetime high is 36, so we're way off a lifetime high, although I do wonder if that has anything to do with a split. Sitting in the middle of it. Well, here we go. No happy accident that this happened here. And see question coming in there, Pamela. Give me a moment. I'm going to circle right to that or comment. I'm not sure if it's question or comment. Horizontal line. And watch where this horizontal line ends up on the daily chart. Eventually, sometime this year. Bang. Right here. So that's no happy accident that we couldn't really blast through into that gap. I want to zoom in a little bit. And then zoom back to show what I'm talking about here. So we got through that just a little bit. And we always talk about pivot lines, support and resistance lines are not exacts. So really the support line or the resistance line would be here looking back in time. All right, that's going to come down somewhere around here. And so we got a whoopsie right through it and right back under it and bang, bang against it. So that's no happy accident whatsoever. AI can't look back in time like that, like we can for that gap fill, unfortunately. That is what it is. That's why man and machine combo always works the best. So, Pamela, I'd like to go over reviews of the AI, first time joining the close. Yeah, sure, Pamela. So I hit a few things on the AI already. I was covering some of the winners. I just kind of jumped into loser right there. But I'll circle back to winners again here. Just give me 1 second. I like to be unbiased about it. The AI doesn't win all the time. And I like to really point out and hammer home that to me, the AI is a person and machine, man and machine, woman and machine combination, whatever you want to call it there. And that it's best managed by a trader. The strategies in here are statistically weighted, especially the entries. But the way that you might base that stop loss will be completely different than the way that the AI is basing the stop loss. The AI isn't built around any one individual's trading strategy. It's built around some commonalities, if you will. So using different ATRs and things like that for those stop losses, they may not be something that you would ever do as a day trader. Something that's very popular for a lot of day traders is looking at the low of a previous 15-minute bar as a stop loss. AI can't do that, unfortunately. It's just not the way that it works. We can't compare bars like that right now with the technology that we have. So just throw that out there like that. So I'm not sure what you mean by volume leaders. Are you talking about like in a top list? If you were to click here and you'd look at, I don't even know if that's in here. Is that right? Volume leaders. You could do that with any top list. I don't want to mess with my liked list right now, but if you were to come here, Pamela, tools, or excuse me, new. And you took a top list and just, it doesn't, you don't have to configure it in any way. That new top list will have this drop down menu here. All right. And everything defaults to be called volume leaders. Whether you create a new top list or a new alert window, it will always be called volume leaders. That's just the default name of every scan. Or excuse me, a default name for every new scan. But you can come in here, you go to volume on that drop down menu, volume leaders. All right. And it'll bring that up. And then you can come in here and configure. And you look at what that scan is doing. Window specific filters. Let's get rid of the unused. So you're looking at stocks between $1 and $500, relative volume of 0.5, and an average daily volume of 150,000 shares. So that's where that is. You can get rid of this drop down menu if you don't want to see it. Right click, properties, show strategy menu, and now it's gone. Right click and properties again, show strategy menu, and it's back. And so if you want to save it as is, or if you just want a versatile top list where you can constantly toggle between all these, you can do that too. If you want to save it as is, you could always right click, save or share to cloud, and it'll be saved as that volume leader one, just like that. And then you could, open multiple top lists, or even just duplicate this one and have each one on the different things you might want to look at. So thank you, Perfect Circle. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. So it's a short and skinny right there as far as that volume leaders goes. But anytime you do a new, just want to demonstrate that one more time too here. Anytime you open, it doesn't mean it's a volume leaders. It's just what it defaults. It gives it a default name. So if you go new, you were to do alert window, for example, and you come to summary where the name is. Alert windows are always breaking out on volume. My apologies. And volume leaders is the default name for top list. That's the way that works. So just default names on that you can always change. So we covered one AI loser. Let's cover a second AI loser here. It's like I said, I like to be unbiased about this. Same kind of concept here. We're looking at this kind of as a resistance area, I would say, back in time. Again, hammer back to the fact that pivot lines are not exacts or approximations. So we got a whoopsie through it right here, and we're going to head right back down below it. And again, I would stress that, this big gap up here, and we know that we've got resistance right behind, not that many months away, might be tough to get through that. So, and it obviously was. Unfortunately, she came down, got stopped out, and never recovered on that. So it was just a bad trade, top ticked. That's all there was to it, Like I said, they can't all be winners, and there doesn't need to be an excuse. Sometimes the trade just didn't work. We can see that, it gapped up. It tried to hold this line here. It really actually fought with it quite a bit. Just the sellers were not having it. Was trading very liquid, 5.6 mil shares traded going into the last, let's say, 16 minutes here in the trading day, and a 4.47 on that relative volume ratio. So those are losers. I also like to not just look at winners and losers, but let's look at spread in between. So you have something here. I was up a bit more than where it is right now. Actually, it's still open as a matter of fact. So, holding on to this one for the day was the call here. All right. And again, let's look at the stop loss. You got a $44 entry stop loss and basically $44.07 entry and basically $37 stop loss. It's a massive stop loss. And while I get why the ATR or however that worked exactly for that stop, what it saw, as a trader and an intraday trade, that doesn't have a very good risk to reward ratio as far as I'm concerned. It's tough because there is not a lot of data to go off of on this. So this might be one of those things where actually, an opening candle might have been the better stop and certainly would have share sized you better, certainly would have been a better profit. But again, how does that fit into your trading style? It certainly doesn't fit into mine. It's just not the kind of trader I am. But looking at it biased and realistically, nice alert overall, though, the entry price, and he never got in really much trouble below that price, a couple of bucks underneath. But when you're talking about it, something that's gapped and a change from close of 25+%, you know that you're going to have some big moves in it. So just very nice setup that's in there. I think this is a newer issue stock. Is that, am I crazy? No, I'm not crazy. Well, maybe I am, but all the same. Newer issue stock. So, lifetime high for it, it looks like. And blue skies ahead. What does that mean? Does it pull right back tomorrow? Possibly. Does it keep going? Does it move sideways? Who knows? But definitely something to watch, especially when it's doing 9 on the relative volume and 8 million shares traded. So that's short and skinny there. And I want to again, I've had some people that had sent some emails in that didn't find these later sessions useful because I was just covering kind of charts and things like that. If someone like that's in here now and they're not finding what I'm doing useful, ask a question. Ask a question that's relevant to you, please. All right. And I will cover that question the best that I can to my ability and my knowledge. I don't have pre-done content on this, so I try to keep it interesting, keep it moving, and keep it relevant to the software as much as I can. I prefer not to go over charts, quite personally. I prefer to do the software, but I can't come up with something with the software every day. Last few days, 5 or 6 sessions, we built some different alerts. I thought maybe we get away from that and we'd hit a little bit on the AI for a moment. So, with that said, and this being an open forum, and if someone out there has a question, they're going to, of course, ask that. That was my, so I covered winners, losers, and some in betweens on the AI. I know that maybe a few people weren't here on the winners and they might have just only saw the losers. So I hit something with the winners again. Start with Playboy Company again, just really fast on this. Really, really solid alert. Beautiful right there. Not crazy about where the stop was put on it once again, but it's not made to what my strategy would be intraday trading. So, that massive stop right there that's where it looks like an ant kind of profit here for such a huge move off that entry, but almost a $6 move off that entry. It's, pretty substantial on Playboy. We can look at a few other things here. This was an area of interest, obviously, as far as support and resistance went. And so we banged on it, couldn't get through here. We've been banging on it now as support instead of resistance like it was back here. And so we could say to ourselves, all right, we've held this support now. We're gapped up. The AI's in it. The market's on our side. And this is a trade that might just be worth watching. And it gave you plenty of time to get in, too. It's not like you had to jump right in on this thing either. So winners, losers, and all the in between with the AI. So I see a question coming in. Chris, I'm new, so my questions are remedial. You know what the difference is between today's profit and max P&L on Brokerage Plus? Yeah, sure, Jess. So let's see. Let's bring over Brokerage Plus. You know what? We can do it actually. Well, no, we can't. So hold on. Let me adjust something with my Brokerage Plus real fast. So I don't think I have those columns. So here's my Brokerage Plus window. Now, your max profit is going to be whatever the max was at any given time on that stock. All right. Meaning that, let's say that you got in, and the AIs also helps me give a good example of this. All right. So the max profit here for the conservative, max profit's always going to look at conservative mode on the AI. Max profit on yours is just going to look at your holding period. So the max profit on this looked at this part of that candle right there on this trade here. And that's where the max profit was in conservative mode before the AI closed the trade here for a profit save. Okay. But the today's profit is what you were at currently right now. That would be same as total P&L or today's profit here. All right. Those two items right there. Now the total P&L could be, let's say that you close some of the trade and you have some of the trade open right now. Okay, so that's how that would work. And today's profit would work. Let's say that you had something that you opened yesterday. Okay, and so that would be what today's profit looks like. Okay, versus what the total profit is from the holding of the total trade. So those are all the different ways. Hopefully that makes sense, Jess. Let me know if not, and I'll hit back on that for you. But like I said, the max P&L is what the max, where the highest price was, what your profit was based on the highest price since you've been holding it. Okay, perfect. I think that, yes, it does means that was making sense for you. So again, the max profit is what the highest price is since you've been holding it. total profit and today's profit, they differ in a few different ways. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. Glad that worked for you. Excellent. And, I don't, just remedial question. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the hard questions. I'm here for the easy questions. I'm here for the in between questions. I want people to get the absolute most value out of the software that they can. I don't want someone to, I don't have all the answers. There's parts of the software I've never really used much. So if I don't have the answer, I'm going to dig for it. And it might take me a day or two to get it for you, but I'm going to get it for you. I'm actually still waiting on an answer from someone for block trade information, as a matter of fact. Still haven't heard back on that. I'm going to have to poke them again and see if I can get an answer. Just double backing to make sure I didn't get the answer on that. Gentleman named Robert, who's in here during the afternoon sessions, asked a great question about, how we know the block sales and the times of them, but don't have full time in sales. I'm guessing there's something specifically with how those sales are reported versus the other ones, but I don't like to give answers with guesses. So, okay, anyways, back to our scheduled program. They're on different servers. That's why we're trying to put this all together here. Actually, hopefully, it's in the top two priorities of the dev team. They kind of link together, but some people are having issues with their charts load slow sometimes. And what I mean by load slow is they click on an alert, and it's happening to me right now. But also, I'm running a massive amount of software. But they click on something, and it takes a second for the chart to load up for them. It's happening to some users, not happening to others. We can't explain it. Why 100 users see it today, 10 users see it tomorrow, 75 users see it the next day. So it's one fold that the dev team's number one priority is, and it links into, we're trying to put tick by tick data in for the charts and for this. Right now they run on 8-second server refreshes that we're trying to get rid of. Some old technology, some old legacy technology of ours that we're trying to get rid of. So that's going to be the cause in this. The more volatile the stock, obviously, the more differential you'll see in it. And it also applies to the price alerts window. You'll see a disconnect between the three of them. What will always be real is when an alert happens, it's time stamped. That is accurate 100%. On the web version, on the web version, the charts are actually a bit more snappy, and so is a single stock window on the web version. The refresh is smoother on those. Brokerage Plus is going to be tick by tick data. It's going to be tick by tick data if you're connected to your actual brokerage, or you're connected to E-Trade or IB, because that data is coming directly from them and not us. That's how that works. If it's in the sim, then it should be pretty much right on. If something's really volatile, something's trading, 8 million shares in the first 15 minutes and it's got a, 170 relative volume, you might, see a little discrepancy there. And the only time you're going to get anything real is with time and sales at that point through your broker. Yes, Brokerage Plus should be spot on, because that's coming in from live time and sales data from the brokers. So, whoa, who is on financing? I can't say perfect circles. Just a few people that, sometimes when someone comes into our help chats, especially this time of the day, the other guys, if it's not something that is someone asking for help with building a scan that they can help with right away, they send them over to me to demonstrate things. And so a few people have said, oh, those aren't helpful. All they do is talk about charts and stocks. So I emailed those individuals personally. I told them, look, I talk about charts and stocks because other people are, nobody's asking me questions. So I'm going to generate my own content. Coming up with content every day is not easy. Steve, Andy, and Jamie, who did the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday webinars for years and years and years, those weren't bi-weekly the way they are now, the way they work. They were, every single Monday, every single Tuesday, every single Thursday. I skipped the Wednesday one because that's Dan and Brad. Coming up with content for those every single week, new, fresh, exciting content, is not easy. It's only, you can only go over so many things so many times. And you can recycle some of it, of course, but the content goes stale. So me coming up with an hour's worth of content every single day, all on my own, not my idea behind doing this. And doing this late Q&A was 100% my idea. This wasn't something that Trade Ideas asked me to do. They didn't say, hey, here's a new task for you, we want you to run this. I just said, it feels like we could use a little more live content at a different time that we normally don't have it. I'm going to take it upon myself to do it. Is that okay with the team? And the team said yes. So anyways, that's the short and skinny what happened there. Do you use Brokerage Plus or IB? BP or IB? Well, I use Brokerage Plus linked to IB is what I use. I do all my trading exclusively through it. It's the reason why I have IB. I'm considered switching over to E-Trade. I don't know if I feel like really going through the hassle of switching to E-Trade. Sure, it'll probably save me about $50 a month switching to E-Trade. I'm lying. Probably save me like $30 a month. I don't even know what I generate in commissions. I'd have to look. I've never looked, to be honest. Yeah. So BP I'm guessing is Brokerage Plus. So I'm using Brokerage Plus through Interactive Brokers. I'm connected to Interactive Brokers with Brokerage Plus. No, I don't use E-Trade. Nope. No E-Trade for me. Right now I'm connected to Interactive Brokers with Brokerage Plus. So, but I don't bring it over very much because there's account information and stuff like that I'm not going to display live. I've considered switching to E-Trade. Just one reason I want to switch to E-Trade is because I'd like to become more familiar with them. When it comes to Interactive Brokers, I'm getting pretty handy with Trader Workstation and Interactive Brokers. There's obviously stuff I'm not going to know. I don't have multiple accounts with Interactive Brokers, so I don't know how to make an allocation profile. I don't know how to do things like that. So Danny, Chris, do you know where the sector industry data comes from? I noticed a stock unit that I was looking didn't have data on there. Newer stocks. It comes straight from our data providers, NextCore and FactSet. I don't know which one provides which. That's where that comes from, Dan. So let's see, E and VX. And sometimes things are wrong, and we got to poke them and say, hey, you guys are reporting this wrong. We're paying you for the data. Our subscribers are paying us. Fix it, please. So that's where, like, this stuff here, this comes from either FactSet or NextCore or Nexus, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, no subsector or anything. I'm guessing maybe because it's a newer issue. I'm not really sure what their excuse would be there. I can try to, I don't poke them personally. I've never had any kind of contact with them. Is IB better than E-Trade? I don't know. Sometimes, as Barry would say, you get what you pay for. So, on some of those days when there's insane market volatility and all of a sudden E-Trade and Thinkorswim won't work well, IB never goes down. IB never has an issue with any of that. IB also probably has more borrows at better prices than E-Trade does overall. So if you're more into shorting, probably IB is the better option. If you're just going long, you're not looking for anything special, I'd say go with E-Trade then. If you're up in the air about the two of them, if you're looking for some some IB information, I can give you a link to IB here. Let me look. Sorry, looking to find links I want here. All right, here we go. So if you want to know more about IB, they have different structuring fees for their commissions. The other problem with IB is that it's not a problem, but you have to pay for their data. They have two data packages that you'd need to directly connect. One costs $4.50 a month, or you could take a different one that's $10 a month. But if you generate $30 in commissions, they waive that fee. So, that's entirely up to you how you want to do that. And if you send an email to info at trade-ideas.com. Say, hey, what data do I need from IB? I'll send you the link. I'll send you some screenshots of what that looks like. What would have you move to E-Trade? The commissions really don't make a big difference to me, Pamela. What would have me move over there more than anything else is I know IB already really well, and their connection and reading the Brokerage Plus files. Like, whenever someone has a Brokerage Plus problem, I'm the one that's going over it. It's me, I'll say 90% of the time, looking into the Brokerage Plus files and going over what happened. While the files between IB and E-Trade aren't really that much different, just me having an E-Trade account would probably up my knowledge pool in it, and then just using E-Trade. Like, for example, today someone was asking me about E-Trade and the E-Trade and if they have a simulator and things like that. And I have no idea if E-Trade has a simulator. You know, our relationship with any of these brokerages are very limited. They open their API after negotiations to us, and then we build into their API. E-Trade having the crappiest API on the planet besides probably TD Ameritrade at this point. But that's a whole other story to get into. So nothing other than just more experience. You know, I have a lot of experience with Fidelity. I used their Active Trader Pro for years. I have a lot of experience with Thinkorswim. I used that for a few years. I've now used Trader Workstation for a couple of years. You know, they all have their goods and bads. Can we talk about how to fill in the space on Brokerage Plus for limit orders, stop orders, trailing stops, etc.? The basic terms of quantity, stock price. Getting confused about how to do the stops. Yeah, so if we were to, oh shoot, we're after market close, so it's hard to demonstrate now. Let's see if I can do it or not, though. So connected to the simulator, let's see if I can do something here with a stock. Oh, here we go. I got something open from that I was testing the other day. All right, so you can, for setting a stop here, you can right click, you can add a stop order, you put the price that you want. Let's just say I wanted, $25 as my stop. Add, and we're going to see $25 come in for that as soon as I populate that chart. There we go. So we can see my stop is down here at $25. All right, and then I can take that and I can move that around if I want. I don't have to. Now I could also take I can come in here to the orders. I could cancel the order if I wanted to in here. I could also, if I wanted to sell it at a limit, I could come in here and say, I want to sell it at, let's say, $26. I could type right. That would help. All right, and press sell. And we're going to see that populate up here somewhere. Maybe. If I did that right. There we go. So there's a sell order at 26. All right, same thing. We can move this around. We can modify stop. We can add a time stop. We can modify the target. All right. Trailing stops. I've never used a trailing stop in my entire life. I believe we don't have an option through Brokerage Plus to directly do a trailing stop once you're in like this. Do we? Well, let's see. Add modify assign column. Okay, so on trailing stops, you'd have to do this for a trailing stop. If we come to strategies, we're to right click one of these just as an example and edit strategy. You could, in the risk management, enable the trailing stop here and have that trade come in from there. So honestly, never use a trailing stop. So let's mess with this for a second here. Trailing stop, let's do a percent. Let's do 5%. Configuration counts. Simulated trading. I'm just testing something here. Entry time. Order details. Risk Risk management set, hold, none. Okay, so, and what strategy is this again? This is risk $100 at market. Okay, so let's see here. Trade, risk, $100 share market. All right. I don't know if that's going to work the way I want it to, only because we're in the after hours here. Let's see, that order's there. Let's cancel that. And let's try this. Order detail, limit 2 cents. Okay. Set as default chart long. Buy. Let's see if that gives me what I want. Like I said, this is a little tough to show now here in the aftermarkets because I don't know if I'm going to get a fill for this. But that's how I would suggest doing the trailing stop, is making the order through there. Yeah, again, the order is going to be here, but not wanting to fill for me because we're in the after hours. No, Robert, I actually mentioned before, I poked again. I haven't heard back from them on that specific item here. I sent another message asking about it, and I'll send it again. If I don't hear again, I'll just keep pestering them until they give me an answer. Yeah, I wanted to kind of to set that though. But all right, my point being here is in Brokerage Plus, in here, there's no trailing stop set like that. You have to do it off the strategy here. So you can create a new strategy also. We could right click, new trading strategy. All right. So this is just a complete blank strategy here. All right, let's go test. Counts. We want it to be on the simulated trading. We'll save that. Entry time. We're wide open. None of that other stuff matters. Let's go with a limit order. Let's give it a wide minus 0.15 here. See if that might get us a fill in the after hours. Shares, we'll call it 100. Risk. No stop loss. Percent. 5% on that trailing stop. Hold time. No hold time. Okay. So there's our test. Let's enable it. Save it as a default chart strategy and see if I can't get it to trigger here for me. Might also help to find something really active in the post market too. I don't know if we can find something active in the post market here. All right, and then is your layout available on the cloud? Thanks again. No, I mean, I can share my layout with you. The issue with sharing my layout is that these two here are attached to symbol lists that I manage on my own account. So there's really nothing. This is just a top list. It's a completely 100% blank top list. There's nothing in it whatsoever. And this is pointed at a symbols list that I manage daily. So I can share it with you, Prag, but these aren't going to have any value to you. The only two things that I have on here that that'll work on their own is this moving higher with unusually strong options volume, which is one of Barry's scans. This is Barry's watch list up. So that's really it. I can share them with you. I don't, that's easy enough. The moving higher. I mean, if you want like the charts or something, I can share individual docs and things like that with you. Just sharing the layout, I feel like you're losing something. But here, you know what? I probably have the layout in the cloud. Here, I'll give it to you, and you decide from there. Um, is that the layout? It's Pro Doc New Layout 10.4 Share. Copy. So, I mean, this is my layout if you want it. Like I said, those two windows aren't going to present a lot of value to you, but it's also going to give you, aside from what you see on my screen here, there will be this here, these compare count windows that I use, that'll be involved in what you get. And then I have this here. So you get the price alerts window. I just have a static chart that I put SPY, IWM, all those different indexes on. And this is TI strength alerts. I watch and monitor those as well. So that's what you'll be getting in that layout. And if you don't like these, or you can rework those scans, or you can take those out of that doc and put something else in that doc that makes more sense for you. Let's see. So, all right, Jess, I think, covered most of that stuff. I wanted to get an order filled here in the after hours. Sometimes they'll fill, sometimes they won't. Let's take a look here. File, load from cloud, post market. Let's see what some of these things are doing here on the post market, if any of them are really active. Sorry, my computer's really struggling right now. Nope. That's active in the post market. There's my problem. Okay, default long strategy. Let's see if that gets us what we want. There we go. So now this is set up that it's trying to put an opening order here at this price. All right. My problem is I had it saved as a default, and I got to fill. All right. And here's a closing order, this stop, and it's a trailing stop now. And see how that stop came in, and we'll see how that stop moves accordingly with the price if it does. Like I said, I've never in my entire trading life used the trailing stop. If you weren't able to move it, you might have set a stop limit instead of just a stop. A stop limit has two components to it. So just make sure that you had a stop and not a stop limit. How many tickers usually wind up on your watch list off of my evening scan? I've had as many as 40 something on there for the list that I manage for not my liked. My liked I run a little different than I run than the list for this. This one I've had as many as 40. I'm probably somewhere around 20 right now. I've had as little as 10. This I could have anywhere from, let's say, it gave me a fill. All right. So there's the fill. And now I have the closing order that's here for it. All right. There's no target. And let's just see what happens as the price moves on this. It's supposed to be a 5% trailing stop. This my liked list, I don't know. Let's say I've had as few as 40 on it over the last year and as many as 150 on it. I put things on here based on different things, not just if they're and it's something I immediately like, something I'm tracking more long term. So let's see, stop. Interesting. That's just this here doesn't give me the stop price on it. So I wonder how that's going to work. Add a stop, time stop, orders, CME trailing stop says it right there. So all right, so we did that. All right, Jess. I hope you know this. There's a recording of this always every day too, so you can see how I did that. If you want to go back and look at that. And again, if you have Brokerage Plus stuff, you send in an email, infotrade-ideas.com, say what it was, and send your files with it, and I'll take a look. So, all right, we covered some cool brokerage stuff plus that I've actually never personally done. Would like to see this move. Take a look at what's happening in the post market with it here. Let's show post market. Pretty serious volume coming into this here. 5K on the 1 minute volume. You got it, Jess. And again, so because I'm doing some of this in the post market, I'm not sure how that's going to translate into the regular market as well, or regular market hours versus post market, because we don't have time and sales, so it's going to work a lot differently here in the simulator. So, all right, we got about 14 minutes left. If people have questions, fire them away for me. Like I said, I always prefer the questions, working through stuff. I learned something new there. Now it's updating. It wasn't updating before. Interesting. When I played with it, though, it wanted to update now. Yep, there it goes. All right, so now the trailing stop is updating. Interesting. Okay, that's fun. I've never used a trailing stop before. Can we build a scan? Throw an idea at me. We got 13 minutes. Do you want to go with alert window or top list? How about an alert window? All right. Looking for stocks to short. What criteria do we want to short them based on? Want to try to find something that's spiked way up? Long short hold? Long short hold. So let's see. Maybe let's go with the position and the position in 3-month range, and let's look at stuff that's, let's say that's pretty close. No, let's go higher. Let's say stuff that's near the high of the 3-month range. Let's start there. All right. My idea behind doing that is trying to find stuff that has room to run down. Maybe let's see, search. Let's also go with a position in a 5-day range. I'm kind of just throwing some stuff at the wall here to start us off, but let's also go with stuff that's way up on 5 days. Okay, let's see, what's going to be, get some volume, got to have volume. My near term, slightly out of the money put on as an option. Okay. and sell once it goes down. All right, so let's look at stuff that's kind of extended on these different time frames here. Some volume. Let's make sure we're working with stuff that's liquid. Search volume. You're trading options. Maybe we want options volume. So let's go with options. Put to call ratio. Options volume, contracts. Let's go with put volume today. Let's go with 300. Let's see, search. We need an alert here now. Now we need the catalyst. Oh, we're about to get stopped out. At least 2K options today usually. Maybe let's find something. Gap reversal. I've never used a gap reversal. I'm just curious. I have no idea what this is going to look like. All right. We'll call it options puts. All right. And so let's see. We're looking at stocks where the put volume's at least 300 shares. I'm not sure if that makes sense. I'm not an option person. So if I'm doing that wrong, tell me. Stocks where the price is at least 90% above the low of the 5-day range, at least 90% above the low of the 3-month range. So we're up high, and we're looking for a gap reversal now. So we're strong. We've been strong, and today maybe is the day we're giving it up for a little bit. And only one alert on that today. But this might not be something that turns out a lot of alerts, considering what the setup that we're trying to look for is. And just out of curiosity, snow. And alerted down here. I mean, that's extended. It's also, I think, one of those weird cult stocks. I'm not sure I'd go after that. Let's go with history here. Let's take a look at all. All right, so snow is the last alert. PLD. What does that look like? Right. I think you're right on that too. Low volume. I know low volume is kind of relative, but low volume on quality names is not the same as low volume on junk names. Low volume on Apple is trading 50 million shares, where anything else out there trades 50 million shares. That's less than 100 mil in the float. That's a huge deal. That might be something to look at here. PLD Dash. This was from yesterday. Now Dash, that would have been a good one. Riot. I don't know. That's a high quality name. Maybe we put a market cap filter on this too then, no? Configure. Let's change a few things around. Search. Let's go with market cap. Let's add that filter. Let's say stuff that's 50 million in market cap. I mean, I don't think market 50 million market cap anymore is that big. I also want to take this down maybe a little bit. Let's go with this at 75%. And the reason why I'm trying to use the gap up as the catalyst is, like I said, to find something that gapped up and is now going to give it up. It's exhausting its last little bit. And that was kind of my thought behind it. You see once in a while those stocks that make that gap up, and then that was a kind of fades. It gapped up maybe into some resistance because we can't look that far back for resistance in a pivot like that. And this is returning nothing now. Maybe something different than that gap up. Also, that market cap filter, I don't think did us any justice. But I like the concept behind it. And I like the idea that you said high quality names that are just ready maybe to pull back a little bit. Standard deviation breakdown. I think where we'll have our issue is finding alerts and the filters that are going to combine well for us here. Let's work off the 5-day range instead for now. If you have an alert thought that you think might work better than what I've come up with so far, throw that idea at me. I thought that gap would work a little better than it did. Running up, running down. Gap down reversal, false gap up retracement. See, I'm not crazy about some of these ones, the way they would set up with those filters. They're almost working against the filters that we're trying to work with here, a lot of these alerts. I almost wonder if this works better as a top list instead. Go back to that gap up reversal. Or above. Maybe let's get rid of market cap and let's bring in another options filter instead. Let's go options, volume today. Add that filter. Let's see what happens here. So more similar to what we had before. Let's come back to history and see if that changed anything at all, though. All right, some new names are in there. Okay. That's something to work with. This one looks like it could have room to move down. ETF, so never mind. Well, it's still optionable, so. That looks strong. I wouldn't go short in that. TSM. Semiconductor. Toast. bottom of the list. You got me food for thought here, though. That worked nicely, actually. Toast. Sorry, I'm not looking at the. I'm looking at today. So right here on that 65.20. So that alert came in here on this day, right around in there, and that was a good couple of day fade. Just shorting in this market for any period of time. I mean, that's a tricky thing. You got to find someone that's really ready to give it up for a multitude of reasons. Raj, I came in. Nah, it's a buyout or something that's garbage like that. That worked well. Yeah. That worked well though, right there. Off that gap up and this move down. So there's definitely some quality stuff that's come in here. This I don't think is going to have worked well for you. Nope. When did this alert come in? Because I was looking at, all right, so this would have actually probably worked off the alert at 49 and change. No, never mind. That wouldn't have still kind of hung right around that price. This ended up giving up for a bit for recovering. But like I said, in this market, it's really tough to short for any period of time, anything. We're really in a rising tide lifts all boats phase, other than real bad earnings or real bad news. Alert came 2206, somewhere down here, kind of floundering away. But again, like I said, you're also playing puts, not the underlying stock price too. So, this worked really nice here. That alert came in here. That just came apart. So there's definitely some quality alerts in here. So we'll go ahead and share this window. I got to wrap up for the day. Saver share scan cloud. Save and share. Copy and paste. So, depending, we move into a different environment or more choppy environment like we were in September and part of October, you might find that a lot more interesting. We're in a bad environment for it right now. That's all there is to it. So maybe rework some of those filters a little looser. I'm not sure, but definitely some quality alerts off there, considering that's not a ton of alerts coming through there anyways. So there's the short and skinny of that. So all right. I thank you, everybody. I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Again, this is a live Q&A I do every single day, Monday through Friday at 3:30. It's open forum. I like it when you guys ask the questions. I prefer to go over software stuff, just like I was doing with Dan there. I don't mind going over charts, but I'm no chart technician or anything like that. I see stuff. Sometimes I'm right. Sometimes I'm wrong. I enjoy charts, but I don't feel like that's giving everybody the best value for the software. I want this to be educational, the software more focused than anything else. So, all right. I thank you again, everybody. Barry will have this open tomorrow at 9 a.m. So join him. Noon tomorrow will be Wednesday, and Steve will be doing that. The noon live Q&A, and then Barry shuts down at 3, and I'll open this back up at 3:30 again. My pleasure, Dan. Perfect Circle. Thanks for jumping in, Robert. I'm going to get you an answer at some point. I'm gonna poke them again for another answer for you there. And I think, Jess, you're already gone. Pamela, thanks for stopping in. I hope to see you again. Same Prague. Thanks, guys. Everybody take care. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening. Bye-bye.